Let's talk about the concept of cause and effect, which I'm sure you've heard about before. And so when we use the words cause and effect, we're specifically referring to what happens after we do something. Okay, so for example, looking at these black little boxes here, these dominoes, if you hit one of the dominoes, it will then hit the next one in line. So that's the effect of this person pushing the first one. And then sometimes you have this subsequent or effect afterwards, which is something will then affect something else, and that will affect something else. And so this image does a good job at showing cause and effect. What happens when I do something? And this is important in science because scientists cause something to happen and then they look for the effect. And we see this happening in our lives all the time. And so the more we can cause something to happen, the more we can learn what happens afterwards. Okay, so let's take, for example, the sun being really hot outside. Okay, so when that happens, what is the effect? What happens next? Well, one example would be that some ice cream starts to melt. Okay, and so the reason or the cause for ice cream melting is the sun being really hot, right? And so we can put these two photos side by side to sort of look at the relationship between them. And so what would be the finger pushing, causing something to happen? Well, that would probably be the sun, right? The sun is affecting the ice cream. And this is important not to get confused, not to get backwards. We don't want to think of the ice cream being the cause of something because the ice cream isn't causing anything to happen to the sun. It's the other way around, right? Just like these blocks are not affecting the finger is affecting the blocks. So another example would be watering some seeds. So when that happens, the effect is that some plants or some flowers might grow. Okay, so why do flowers grow? Because someone caused something to happen. Okay, and it's not the opposite. We're not watering plants because there's flowers. There's flowers because there's water. Okay, so get them in the right order. And then the last example here is when there's sun and rain, that will cause the effect of seeing a rainbow, or it can happen that way, right? And so this happens all the time in science. And so what I want you guys to start doing, since we just started talking about asking questions in science, we want to take the whole I wonder format of questions, and I want to modify that. I want to change it because that's a good start, but we can make this even better. And the way we're going to make that better is to start phrasing our question to include some type of cause and effect. And so we want to have two specific things in our question, because then we can look at what happens when we do something. And so here's how we're going to start phrasing our questions in science. We're going to start by saying, how does blank affect blank? Okay, I want this to be our new sort of standard way of asking questions. So let's focus on that, and let's sort of get away from this I wonder. Okay, it's not bad to wonder, but here's the benefit of writing a question like this. If I start asking how does something affect something else, then I have cause and effect already in my question. Okay? The cause is the first blank, and the effect is in the second blank. Okay? It's already there naturally. So let's bring back, let's sort of slide this over. Let's bring back our pictures here. Actually, let's just bring back this one. And maybe we can fit it together. There we go. So let's put these side by side. So now if I turn all of my questions into a question in this form, you can start to see how the cause and effect shows up. So I might ask for this situation here, I would turn this into a question by asking, how does the sun affect the ice cream melting? Okay, and then right away I have a cause and effect because of the way I've written this question. For the example down here with the flowers and the watering, I would say, how does watering affect plants or flowers growing? Okay, and so bottom line is, and this will make more sense the more you use this, if we can start using this question, how does blank affect blank, then we'll have cause and effect that we can measure and study as a scientific question. Okay. So that's the new form on how to ask better questions in science, and we'll be working with that, this form of a question for most of our scientific questions this year.